Welcome to Marvel Movie News. I am Matt Key, and today we are talking about Spider-Man, Venom, Daredevil, and maybe a little bitty thing called Captain America Civil War. We'll probably talk about it if there's time. Sit back and we'll get right back to you.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk, we talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Excelsior to you, our merry Marvelites! Welcome back to the show, number 73. Right? Number 73? Am I right?
It sounds like a number.
Yeah, 73. I think that's how...
72 might be a number.
Well, yeah, I think it's 73. We are the Marvel Movie News, coming to you live from the Daily Bugle. That's what we decided today, right? We're at the Daily Bugle. Not Peter's apartment. It's Daily Bugle. Yeah. Anyway, we're
a young boy.
Yeah.
We don't want to be in there.
Daily Bugle. Yeah, you're right.
Sticky white fluids.
Oh, come
everywhere.
on. Stop it.
Underoos.
Stop. Get out already. We haven't even started. Get out. We are the Marvel Movie News, where we tell you all the news from all the studios and why you should be as excited as we are. Subscribe to us on iTunes at Marvel Movie News, or find us through the Popcorn Talk Network, YouTube/Popcorn Talk Network, or their website, popcorntalknetwork.com. Follow us on Twitter at Marvel News PTN, or on Facebook /Marvel News Show. Also, guys, if you tweet a link to our show with a message telling people about the live chat, Doom in the Booth will retweet you.
Doom demands tweets about Civil War, directed at the Popcorn Talk Network.
It's very specific.
Very good, Doom. Very good. Anyway, I'm Matt Key at the Matt Key. With me, as always, is Coy Jandreau at Coy Jandreau. Meredith is out today. She booked some work, so congratulations to her. But we are joined instead by Matt Kennedy, Matt Robb, and Flitz. It's a full house today. It is a full house.
Fuller house than usual.
Yes. Fuller house.
Yeah.
So let's start with Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
Tell people where they can find you.
I'm the gallery director at La Luz de Jesus Gallery, so at La Luz de Jesus on Twitter, and also at Panic Collective, Panic with a K. I host the Podsequentialism podcast and do the Popsequentialism blog.
Nice. All right. Well, go look at Matt Kennedy. I met you on Fat Man on Batman.
Yes.
So you're good friends with the Kevin Smith. You have touched the Kevin Smith. So.
I have, and I've been touched by the Kevin Smith.
Well, okay. That's something we can talk about later.
Right back.
And on the couch we have the Smosh Games.
Hi.
The Smosh Games. So we've got Flitz and Matt Robb. Tell us about yourselves, guys.
I am Flitz. This here is Matt Robb. No, we are 1/6, 1/19 of Smosh Games. I'm creative director of Smosh Games. I do a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. Flitz, many people have seen on Smosh Games, playing the games.
I do game plays, and I am a human.
He has one of those things.
You're a human game player?
I entertain humans with my human.
He does. We also have a podcast that both of you gentlemen have graced your presence on, called The Unpopular Kids.
It's a wonderfully fun podcast. At Flitz?
At Flitz on the Twitters, and also all over the interwebs as Nerdsworth.
Nice.
If you see Nerdsworth, it's probably me.
Wonderful.
Or me trolling. And me at Matt Robb, R-A-U-B, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Tinder, Snapchat, Friendster, Friendster, Meerkat.
And
coming back.
Smosh Games is on YouTube?
Smosh Games is on YouTube and Facebook and
Wonderful.
everywhere else, because why not?
Well, we don't have a lot of time today. We've only got like an hour
and
to
only,
do this.
Months of news.
Yeah, like a month's worth of news. So we're going to jump through the headlines real fast. First up, Spider-Man has made its first kind of big casting announcement since Marissa Tomei, and that is the performer actress Zendaya has been cast in the film. It was initially there's been some chatter that she's I believe it's Michelle Rodriguez.
She's
Gonzalez.
It's
Michelle Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez is from Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Or Resident
Gonzalez.
Evil.
I'd
be cool with playing Michelle Rodriguez of Fast and Furious.
Girl fight.
She's also a girl fight. I think that Michelle Gonzalez is an option, but that's such an older character. She plays a cop. She's a really interesting, love interest, but in Spidey's 30s. So it'd be a really weird move to be like, hey, that obscure kind of character that was introduced for 3 arcs from his later life is now a young girl in Spider-Man. It seems like a stretch. I think she's playing Liz Allen.
Oh, okay.
Because we haven't really done Liz Allen since Sam Raimi, and we also, it's a great character to introduce early on because that's his first kind of love. He's supposed to be young and squirrely, and Zendaya is a really pretty girl. That would be a thing that, he's pining and feeling like, oh no. And also making her Mary Jane, it's too soon. Making her Gwen Stacy, we just had Gwen Stacy. My vote's Liz Allen. I think it's the most logical.
But
I think she's pretty.
If it makes sense, and if they're gonna do a bunch of reboots and they're doing a lot of cultural shifting in the Marvel universe, she could be Mary Jane or Gwen Stacy, which would be.
I just think we just had Gwen Stacy though. I think that only
yes, but she's such a hot button because of those hoodies.
The hoodies, guys. The hoodies
will sell. Think of the hoodies.
But along that same argument, we also just had Spider-Man, and we also just had Peter Parker, and now we're doing like an entire trilogy on top of having him in Civil War.
Totally true.
It's very different. It's definitely different. It's definitely a different audience they're going to be hitting towards.
Yeah, I agree. But I really do. I don't think she's going to be. From the stuff that I read, she's not like a major character.
I don't think she's a major character. That's why I don't think she can be Mary Jane. And maybe this is a small intro to build her up later. I also like the idea of Mary Jane being more of an anthology character, like where she's like slowly placed and used. So maybe that'd be cool if she was introduced in like one scene and then later develops. I'd love Zendaya as Mary Jane. I just think she's Liz Allen because of the way they've kind of teased and the way that I'd build the universe selfishly.
White Tiger.
Oh no, that's really good. That's really good.
You got him excited.
It makes sense because the cartoon is doing really well as well.
Which is Marvel in-house property.
I like that because Nova's super duper young, and if they bring it to the high school days.
And it's Iron Fist also, right?
Yeah.
Good. Isn't Iron Fist part of the...
He's in the cartoon.
Yeah, he's in the cartoon.
Yeah,
that's their team, right?
They would just replace him with like Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
I just think we need a character that isn't going to be necessarily used forever, that sets up him as a squirrely young boy that's nervous around girls, and I think Liz Allen's the way to go, because that was her part in the comics. Like, the Ditko stuff, I want there to be a girl that he's like, that he doesn't actually get, and I think that'd be cool to have her there, and also you can bring her back for the Harry Osborn stuff. They can get married, start that company. Like, it'd be cool to have that character, to have that kind of longevity. I just don't know what they're going to go with.
Yeah. All right. Final thoughts before we move on?
I'm excited.
I'm game.
I'm down.
Yeah, are you
all
like,
of it? Just all
of it. Like literally, I love the fan art approach, I guess you could say, as though that's we're getting giant fan films, really.
Yeah.
So and I like the remixing of the things we think we already know and have established because it keeps you on your toes.
Yeah. No, I love it. All right. In this Spider-Man universe, the Sonyverse, Venom is said to be being brought back to life. Hollywood Reporter initially reported it, saying that Dante Harper is writing the script for it right now. And let's see, something that is being envisioned as a franchise apart from and unrelated to the upcoming Spider-Man movie. So this would be like, Spider-Man's doing his thing and it's amazing. Also, here's Venom and he's doing his thing and it's amazing.
Can I give two thoughts? They're totally different sides. I'll do it quick.
I want you to.
Okay, so
just skibbity bop.
On one hand, it's Venom. So I am the most excited that one of my favorite, like Venom is my wallet. Like, I love Venom.
Venom holds my money.
Venom is a character I've loved since I was a kid. One of my proudest possessions is a 9.6 Amazing Spider-Man 300. It's like, it's so Venom is very important to me. So the fact that we're at the level of technology and the level of cultural awareness, I have 298. It's just not as high. It's not 9.6. So the fact that we have a world where Venom can be his own movie and the CGI is ready for it and people care enough and we're there is amazing, and I'm really happy. On the other hand, without Spider-Man, Venom doesn't make sense because the whole thing that makes Venom scary is that he's something that can creep up on Spider-Man. He doesn't affect his spider sense. He's the dark side of Spider-Man. He's his id to his ego. Like he is the symbiote run rampant, and everything that Spider-Man was afraid of turning into is Venom because he's the strength and the madness and the chaos of the character that he was afraid of becoming. So without Spider-Man, there is no darkness. You can't have a shadow without a form. You can't have the yin without yang.
Silent, snarly Deadpool.
Flitz is having an aneurysm.
Flitz?
Aliens.
That's all you want to say.
I mean, that's what the symbiote is.
Yeah.
If it's going to be a separate movie all its own, people are still terrified of aliens.
Yeah.
It can be a terrifying horror movie.
That's what I want.
Venom. And I think that's where, if they're going to detach
Man thing. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. I'm sorry.
No one does.
Yes.
No one does.
I think I have to also 2 points on one. Topher Grace, give the man more work.
That's not a true point.
No, it is. He's a Connecticut homeboy. I wish he did more. But no, he should never touch Venom again. On 2, I think that... did you guys see the... you obviously saw the Bootleg Universe online short, Venom.
I don't think it did, actually.
Oh, man, yeah.
Ryan Quanten.
Yeah, Ryan Quanten played Eddie Brock as, like, it was like a weird French noir type of thing where he was, like, on the search for this killer, and it turned out it was the duality of him as Venom and as a reporter, and Venom is actually a killer. Watch it. It's great.
Jekyll and Hyde.
And
That's awesome.
So good. If they kind of went with that approach and kind of went with that, what Todd McFarlane was saying he wanted the Spawn movie to be, where, like, you never really see Spawn. It's all about everybody's reaction to it. Spawn is this ominous creature. Like, that's what I want. I want Venom to be this ominous creature because I feel like you can't do Venom justice without doing 90s McFarlane Venom.
Yeah.
You can't slap a mouth on a black Spider-Man costume and be like, Venom! Like, it needs to be giant, snarling, huge teeth, mouth.
Sam Keith.
Yeah, exactly. With way less ink.
Yeah.
But it should be something along those lines, but, like, it needs to be horrifying. It needs to be super... And I think, sure, why not? You can do it. That's the only way to do it without having Spider-Man.
I'd be okay with a Venom after Spider-Man, but not before. I don't want Venom to be a creature that exists without Spider-Man because then you remove him from the universe forever. If he's not the end of the yang, you can't bring him in later because his freaking symbol is Spider-Man's symbol but morph. You can't suddenly be like, oh, it's weird how similar their powers are. It's almost like that doesn't work. You can't have that later, and then that ruins the black suit. That ruins the idea of Carnage. It completely negates one of the best arcs of Spider-Man, in my opinion. A lot of people hate it, but then you negate a possibility for the future by having him start without Spider-Man. Yeah. I love Venom Space Knight. I think it's one of the best books out, but you can't do it later.
It's Bizarro without Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
It's Lex Luthor without Superman. He's just the president.
That could be a great show.
It's just Michael Rosenbaum like on the West Wing. And I'd watch that, but it's not Lex Luthor, and I want Venom and Spider-Man. That is an amazing combination. He's the Joker to the Batman. I need that in my life.
We got to skibbity bop on out of here. Right? I'm sorry.
There will be more.
Breathing. My wallet is Venom!
Some week we'll have time. We'll come back.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
I don't think they're ever going to introduce Carnage to the cinematic universe, and I think they're just going to combine the two. And that's they're going to establish Venom, and he will be an enemy to Spider-Man.
Just making me sadder, Flitz. Just making me sadder.
Listen, they're not making it for the fans.
No, they're making it for the money. But I like Carnage so much that I'm going to pretend that it might happen one day. I will hold out hope.
All right, well let's jump on over to some very quick Iron Fist news. So this went back and forth a lot. None of this has been confirmed or anything, but the first one of these is that Iron Fist is rumored to be making his debut in Luke Cage.
Best friend.
It makes sense. They've done with everything else that way.
Sure. And that this is coming from Humberto Gonzalez, who used to be Latino Review. Now he's doing Heroic Hollywood. He was on Collider with our good friend John Schnepp, and he said that in fact they announced the Finn Jones casting because he's going to be in Luke Cage, and like they didn't want that to leak, so they were trying to get ahead of the leak and make the announcement and kind of control the PR. So. But I think that to me makes total sense because they did the same thing with like Luke Cage and Jessica Jones, you know. So like, I mean, Daredevil just established the universe, and then Jessica Jones was like, "Hey, here's more of this universe. Plus, here's this guy Luke Cage who's got his own thing coming out."
And in the special issue of Marvel Knights, Marvel Team Up.
So I think it makes total sense, and hopefully that's true because that means we get to see Iron Fist like in October or November of this year.
I mean, we're in this. Everything is connected in the superhero cinematic world. So like, it makes sense. Everything is a backdoor pilot, right?
Yeah.
You've got Flash showing up on Arrow. You've got Black Panther showing up in Civil War. Like, everything is a backdoor pilot. Spider-Man is going to have a backdoor pilot in Civil War. So I feel like it makes sense.
For a whole other studio.
Yeah, for a complete other thing.
Yeah.
So I think it only makes sense to kind of do it this way because it's like, well, we control it. This is a great way to have organic marketing and get people excited about the next thing without having to
Punisher.
Yeah, exactly.
God, I hope they do that. Like, I don't
As
know
a
how they would
series.
do a whole series that way, but
I think it works as a series,
I think
not
it
as
could be
movies.
pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So the other part of it, do you guys want to talk about Iron Fist anymore and Luke Cage? Anything else before we jump to Shang-Chi?
I can say I'm really excited. I feel like Matt can attest to this. Like,
I attest.
every time like Luke Cage is mentioned, I'm like square. I'm like, oh, Luke Cage!
Oh,
but
man.
I just really enjoy. I'm excited because that friend dynamic.
I love that duo. They're so great in the books,
I'm
and
really
I love
curious
the way
how it's going to play out.
Have you read they just came
The
out
new
with
one?
issue
Or-
1? Like,
no, not yet.
Oh my God, I am so in love with that book. Like, the artwork
great.
is so
Yeah.
so out there and fun. and like I'm just in love with it. It's really good. It's really good.
I just want the Iron Fist stuff to be small in the series, and I want the Jessica Jones stuff to be small because what I really want is it can all be amalgamated. Pardon the phrase, but I think that it can. I want that Max. JLX. I think I want what I want is that old Marvel Max limited series Luke Cage. I want that like gangster Luke Cage,
blaxploitated a little bit.
So good. I want that.
Give it a little bit of soul.
Yeah, that I can't do that.
You picked the wrong ball, Cage. Lucas, if you're nasty.
Oh, all right. So
no white guy can say Christmas. There's not even like it's just like sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas. Oh.
It just sounds like an actual card. Like, Hallmark says Sweet Christmas.
Sweet Christmas, you guys.
Yeah, but when he says it, gravitas.
Sweet Christmas.
All right, let's move on to Shang-Chi. This also went back and forth. Bleeding Cool initially reported it. Then another reporter on Bleeding Cool was like, actually, I think this other guy was wrong. But they said that Shang-Chi is going to appear in Iron Fist. It's just a rumor, and Iron Fist is still like being written, so like whatever. But, like,
I feel like everyone gets mad that we don't have time to talk about Iron Fist. We're not having time. We're not ignoring it. Nothing is fact.
Yeah.
Like the only thing that we have for a fact is that there's a showrunner, a writer, and an actor.
Was cast.
And Iron Fist, like that's all we've got.
We care about Iron Fist. We love Iron Fist. Our goal as a show is to separate rumor from fact. And someone tweeted at me the other day, so upset. They're like, "How can you avoid rumors while trying to be on like a Marvel movie news show?" And I was like, "Well, our goal is to avoid rumors."
It's news.
The line between rumor and fact has been so blurred by journalism. If we as Marvel Movie News can do anything in the direction of justice and law and right and wrong, we're gonna do it. Captain America says so.
We're not the Marvel movie rumors. We're the Marvel movie news.
Totally different show.
But we try not
Marvel
to be.
movie maybes.
Yeah.
It's really good.
The three
News show.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
MMR from like Thursday night till next Wednesday.
And it's just one
Thank
guy
you.
with strings on a map, and it's just like it's insane.
Well, but I mean, we do talk about the rumors,
do.
but we preface like this is a rumor.
And we prefer fact overall.
We prefer
so we try
fact,
to focus on those things, much like a very tangible trailer that we're getting to.
Well, speaking of facts, we've got some new facts regarding Daredevil, the second season coming out next Friday.
Yeah.
Like just
Another day of no
We're gonna be
sleep.
in Austin.
I know, dude. I'm gonna be in Vegas doing Wizard World.
Oh,
the day after
sweet! So
St.
good.
Patrick's
So we
Day.
get to we all come back and we're just gonna just sit
like-
in front of the TV.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
work.
Yeah,
on
I'm definitely
Monday.
not gonna be watching on my laptop in a hotel room. I don't
No,
know.
I mentioned this to Brittany the other day, my fiance, and she was like, I was like, we're not gonna be able to watch it. She's like, we'll watch it on the computer.
The
I was like,
internet.
oh my god, we can! Yes, we'll go to the hotel room and watch it. It'll
Thank
be
you,
great.
future.
I hear the $6 Million Man theme in the background. You know, we have the technology.
We can watch it anywhere. It's a series of tubes all over the world.
Anyway, we've got some new pictures to look at. The new posters. First of all, they showed up in Toronto, and I think this is the only place where they're shown up. But it shows Matt Murdock with his billy clubs. It shows Elektra in her costume, but it shows Frank Castle skadoosh with his skull.
Yeah.
And like holding a giant gun.
And the jacket. Don't forget the jacket, man.
No,
the
the
jacket's
giant
amazing.
so we've got that picture where you see a skull.
Looks so good. Looks great.
Well, they had to do it in Toronto because if they did it in Boston, it would cause an international incident, right? Like, anytime they put a new bus shelter design up, people go nuts.
It's true.
I
it's true.
think
It's safe
Melina's
and
costume looks great.
Oh,
Melina?
it's a Mortal Kombat.
Oh, gotcha.
Smash games. Smash games.
Oh, right.
This game, I was like, what's it? Is that,
They just freeze
that
up.
Yeah, let's talk about sports, guys.
Do we get the character wrong?
is he like a WWF wrestler?
Action games.
I wanted to look. I was like, does they know it's Elektra, right?
Her given name is Melina, guys. Issue 9.
Got it. I see. Yeah.
So yeah, we've got those cool pictures, and then we've also got the cool picture of the billboard, where he's like, Frank Castle's holding a minigun. Like he's holding a minigun. Like I'm so excited that he's holding a minigun.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see him use that.
Oh,
It's
he will.
so great. I mean, I as excited as I am, and I think everyone in this room is for Bernthal as Punisher. I just a little bit of me is like, oh, poor Tom Jane. He was so passionate.
Such
Yeah.
hustle.
He was so passionate, and like, I mean, it's like 5 years from now being like, all right, we finally found a great Deadpool. It's like, oh, but Ryan Reynolds. He was
Yeah.
So, you know, like when you find an actor that's so passionate about a character and then they recast it for whatever reason, not because, I mean, Tom Jane could have done it, I'm sure, but I think it's great that they're just kind of going in a different direction. You get a little sad.
I like that Ryan Reynolds was like the right, and then he fought and fought and fought, and then maintained being Deadpool because there was no other option. It was like if Tom Jane was just outside Fox. No.
I
Dirty
did
Laundry
see.
was his Deadpool.
I saw Thomas Jane outside of Comic-Con one year. This is right around the same time that he was doing The Punisher, and there was one of those trolleys was coming along, and he just totally took off running and jumped on the back of the trolley, which was like totally something you might think the Punisher would do.
Yeah.
And I was
Everyone
like,
has
I
an
have to
amazing-
see that movie. Yeah.
Everyone has this one Tom Jane story.
Tom
from
Jane's
Comic-Con.
kind of amazing,
Like
yeah.
he's just like a myth in himself, and him
Uh-huh.
as Punisher was great, and I will miss it. But John Bernthal looks like John Romita Sr. drew him and broke his
Yes.
nose for him to
Yes.
be Punisher.
Yeah.
Like it's just the man is. It just came out of a comic and was like.
It's so perfect, and I feel like having him set up as Shane in Walking Dead gets everyone ready for him,
Yeah.
and they're already kind of in that mentality of like, oh, he could be kind of an awful person.
Every time
like,
he's in a movie, now when I rewatch, I'm like, Punisher was there. Like that, we talked about it last week. We Are Your Friends, that Zac Efron movie.
Yeah.
Only I watched. When you rewatch it, it's like, oh wait, why is the Punisher hanging out with little Zac Efron in the valley? That's a weird thing.
It's good. I'm down, 100%.
Yeah, these
Yeah.
pictures just further. I mean, it's in a week, guys.
Yeah.
It's a week. It's a week away.
Anticipation.
So yeah, he's got a minigun, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm done.
Shut up and take my bandwidth, Netflix. Just take it. You can
Take my
have
time money.
Take my time money.
All right, well let's finish up our headline section of the show. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is very funny to me actually. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Got renewed for a season 4. That's not what's funny. I'm excited that it got renewed. Like I didn't necessarily love the show when it came out. I still liked it, but then season 2 and season 3, it's really grown on me. It came out this week and it was
So good.
It was so good.
Dude, Secret Warriors. Secret Warriors.
Secret Warriors, man. Like Yo-Yo Rodriguez,
Oh
like
my
slingshotting
God.
around. She looks so good. It's got this season has really pulled me in like in a major way. But I really felt like this was going to be the end of the show. Not because it's like so bad or anything else, but because Marvel and ABC are making so many other things
Right.
that it's like, you know what? We can stop the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. story and put it into 3 other series now. You know, and I really felt like that's kind of what they were going to do. And I said that on last week's show, and 5 minutes after we stopped recording, news comes out. ABC renews Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a 4th season. And I'm like, on my way home, like at a stoplight, I'm like, well, darn.
They have a lot of stuff to introduce. I guess they try to introduce as much as they can through that show. Like,
Yeah.
I try to keep up with it, but it loses me. Like, you know how you're watching something and you just go... Like, it's not literal with me, but... It like that's what happens. I just go.
You get
and
days.
then
You
I'm
pick
off.
up your phone
Yeah.
at that moment of the
Yeah.
show. You pick up your phone. I think it's great. I think that it's very cheap for them. It's O&O. They don't have to license anything out. It's the same reason why CW's got like 17 in the works
Yeah.
DC projects.
Yeah.
It's so cheap for them. Superheroes are so hot right now. So it's such a big thing. It's of course they're going to keep doing it. I am curious how you're going to differentiate this from the other show, from the Hunter and Not Wonder Woman show. I call her Not Wonder Woman.
Marvel's Most Wanted.
Yes. She's not Wonder Woman. She was,
No,
but now
she
isn't
was.
anymore.
She was. That pilot, by the way, not great.
No, not so much.
Not great. You can find it online if you look hard enough. Don't though. But
Because she's great. Keep,
She's Adrian
keep liking
Blakey.
her.
Don't
Yeah.
torrent The Lost Pilot.
yeah.
It's on
it
YouTube.
be.
You don't even need to torrent it. It's available to the world. I mean, but
But yeah, I love Adrienne Palicki. She's great.
how do you differentiate Most Wanted from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Well, but that's why I was thinking like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will end, and then they'll have like Damage Control. They'll have one other show that's in development.
Yeah.
With the guy, I think it's the guy who wrote 12 Years a Slave. I can't remember his
Tweedle
name.
Jarvashforce?
No, that's
Yeah,
the guy
that's
who
the actor
starred in
in-
it.
Oh.
And he's
Trevor
also
Sher-
Baron
I can't say
Mordo.
his name.
Chiwetel
Right,
Ejiofor?
Yeah, that's what I said. We sound the same. I thought I said that.
like the girl from Push, Gabberday Ever Saber.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
she has like the backbeat, right? It's like the place where they get to insert all the backstory to all the characters, and then every once in a while they get to debut something that people get excited about and then watch streaming. So the fact that it is an inexpensive series and the fact that it gives them a platform to introduce as a kind of trial and error whether a character is going to be successful or not, which is what CW is doing with all the DC universe, that it makes sense that it'll be around for a long time because it serves a completely different purpose while not costing much to platform other movie releases, I think.
Yeah.
I'm all for it. I will eat it up as much as humanly possible. The thing that we should, I think, be worried about is with each of these individual, I guess, mediums having their own several series universes, especially with what the Russos said about the fact that the TV universe and the movie universe is so separate.
yeah.
Are we going to have a Netflix universe and a TV universe that are very separate?
Oh, I hope not.
I really hope that.
I like my foods to touch.
I do too. I do too. Yeah.
Your chocolates in my peanut butter.
Yeah.
I love
But I mean,
that.
that's a concern. If you have a Jeff Loeb who's running TV right now, are they going to branch that off and Jeff run Netflix and have someone else run broadcast television and
I
those
think
be
it's a
separate?
concern, but I don't think that those will be. I don't know that we'll ever see anyone show up.
Why?
Dude, I know, but I don't know.
It's so frustrating.
It is, but let's move on.
All right,
Let's move on. Skip-a-dop. That's the Mario theme, kind of. All right, so today, something happened that shook the nerd world.
I got engaged.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
And that is that the rumor broke that Stallone might be in Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just kidding.
Change
We're not going to
the
talk about it. Change the world.
That's Ego the Living Planet.
That's what he is. That would be amazing. If
Where the living planet only talks to the left side of the planet.
he had a planetary stroke.
Where's my supporting mascot?
His two moons look like boxing gloves. No.
We love you, Stallone. We are watching for some reason.
We are, of course, talking about Captain America: Civil War. The new trailer came out today.
Woo!
Let's talk. Like, I'm not going to open this. I'm opening the conversation, but I'm not going to start it. Who has the most exciting thing they want to talk about? Go.
Ant-Man being shot on an arrow.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, come on, bro. Ant-Man on an arrow.
Wait, so was it done in a comic book first? Because it
Yes,
also
it
was
was.
done. Okay, because they use
Yeah.
it. They use it in Ultimate Marvel vs.
Yeah.
Capcom 3
Yeah.
as well. So it's
they
cool.
really? Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's been on a couple
I'm talking about
amazing.
games, right? You're talking
Yeah,
about games.
now I'm talking about
Yes.
games. Ultimate
Yeah.
Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Hawkeye shoots
games.
the arrow. Ant-Man's on the front, and then he punches him, and then he grows giant, and he stomps him.
That's awesome. No, it's this cover right
Yeah,
here.
there it is.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, like
Yeah.
we're
That's going to
like
be bad for the lower back, though. If it's support.
Just a little bit. Also, I hope that arrow's not sharp because if his hands slide, he's losing fingers.
Yeah.
yeah, because he's like basically riding a sword right now, like a giant
I
sword
never
blade.
thought of that once. I've seen that cover so many
God, that's
times.
amazing.
When it says someone's gonna get it, it means Ant-Man. That's actually Ant-Man fighting Hawkeye.
He's losing fingers. No, like that was me too. Like when the rumor broke that he might possibly do that. Every single trailer that's come out, I'm like, I just want to see Ant-Man on an air. Like, Spider-Man will be amazing. Giant Man, I really want to see that. I want to see Ant-Man on an arrow. That is what I want to see.
You got it.
And I
He coming out of me right now.
There, not now. Earlier, like they did it in like the bet. Like I was even thinking about this today before I'd even seen the trailer. Like I was driving because we did the Screen Junkies thing today. So I'm driving there. And I'm like, oh my god! But like in reality, like that would never work. Like how are they going to show that? Like if I have to see. I hope it's in the trailer because I really want to see how they would do it because like. He's on an arrow. Like, does the arrow embed in someone and then he crawls out of their wound? Like,
No,
like,
I
what?
think-
Eat that.
And then, like, I saw the
that's dark.
No, but that's
That's
what
some
I was
Matthew
like.
Vaughn type stuff right there.
David Fincher's Avengers
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Like, can you like seriously like there was a one of the X Factor comics that this is where I fell in love with Multiple Man. Follow me here. He was like fighting a guy. Like this guy was just like kicking his ass.
The
And
fraction
then he
stuff.
punched him
Yeah.
in the mouth.
Punched him in the mouth.
And then he stomped his foot?
No,
Did
like
he
stomped his foot.
And then he
punches him-
multiplied in his mouth.
And he multiplies in the dude's mouth and blows him up from the inside. I was
I
like,
love
oh,
X Factor.
I love Multiple Man now! Like, I'm like this little
Yeah.
13-year-old kid, like,
Yeah.
Multiple Man is amazing! But, like, I was like, oh, my God, like, they would never do that. That is so dark, but like, Ant-Man could totally do that. Like,
Yeah.
you've been shot in the shoulder. I can take it. Can you take this? My eye!
Wow. But
I
Paul Rudd could never do it because
Paul
Paul
Rudd-
Rudd's all heart.
Yeah, but like they showed it like so well in this, where he's like, they shoot the arrow. I'm like, oh yeah, Hawkeye shoot it.
Until he
Oh, there
goes
it
all
is! And he, like,
ultimates.
That's true.
Once he goes ultimates, all
Ultimate
bets
Paul
are
Rudd
off.
just
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, but like he jumps off and he like rolls on the gauntlet. It's just like,
it's so good.
All I'm saying, it'd be Wong for them to do that. It would just be inappropriate for PG-13.
so
and,
you see, the problem is
I think,
because I watched
we've
the
got a
old
running
PG-13
gag here.
I'm picking up on it.
it's really subtle, this pun.
Is it?
I don't know if you
Is
caught
it?
it, but I said Wong. Instead of
Oh,
wrong.
got it.
Can I just for a second? Spider-Man was in that trailer, and I'm not sure if you guys noticed.
Wait, that's who that was.
that at the end there.
Okay.
there was a
I was
moment
like, why do
where,
they have Deadpool?
Oh,
in
the
this?
Yeah,
really,
this
the
is
really
so
big,
weird.
the really big guy with the Michael Jackson voice.
That was him.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
so I just want to, in all seriousness, I want to thank Sony and Marvel for I was gonna avoid every trailer after the last one. I planned on it,
Same.
and I literally was gonna just dodge. And then I realized I host Marvel Movie News, and my fans are amazing. And within 30 seconds, I had 72 tweets, 20 of which had the picture of Spider-Man holding a shield.
Oh,
And I was like, you know,
you can't really escape it.
I
at
think
the end.
perhaps I should watch the trailer to get the context of this beautiful image. And, you know, I feel good about watching it. Because, one, I now have 2 months of that image in my head that I wouldn't have had before. I have 2 months of that 5 seconds in my life that I can go, oh, I'm so excited. And, like, it's an amazing gratification that when I get to see the character fully fleshed out. 2, you guys managed to, talking to you, Sony Marvel, you guys managed to put Ditko and John Romita Sr. art on one Spider-Man within 5 seconds of frame with an eye adjustment, with a logical change of having Tony Stark help the costume, which is not an Iron Spider costume, which still introduces the regular costume and makes everyone happy. Thank you for getting that right.
And it feels like it's in the universe. Like
It
he's got the
feels- yeah.
chevron.
Yes.
It looks like Cap's costume design. Like it just is so perfect.
And the web cartridges and the belt, the slight line work, the James Cameron nod to the old costume, the color, the texture, the CGI is rough, you guys. Everyone complaining about the CGI. The movie comes out in 2 months.
Yeah, they're
they
good.
are working on it.
They're
It
fine.
looks amazing
I
for 2
kind of
months from
liked
now.
that it looked a little homemade.
Yeah.
Well,
You
he
know.
calls him Underoos, so
Yeah.
it's meant to.
Yeah, it all works in that capacity.
like everyone that doesn't understand the movie industry, 2 months
good.
of CGI is going to make that change everything. Like if you
Yeah.
look at a trailer for any movie 2 months out, that looks amazing, all things considered. It is Spider-Man. We have him. He's with the Iron Man event. Like he's
there.
What?
and he
He's there.
sounds like a kid,
Yep.
which is perfect.
how's it going?
Like a dying
Right? That's how
cat.
it sounds, yeah.
Is that what children sound like to you? In your mind, you're like, oh, I can't have kids. They're demons.
All kids sound like poltergeists.
Hey guys, I'm Spider-Man.
The spider eggs haven't dropped yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to play devil's advocate. All for it. I'm all for. I'm super excited. I love
Advocate
it.
the devil. Do it.
I'm gonna advocate the devil. I feel like why put it in there? Why waste
Okay.
it in a trailer?
Oh, in a trailer.
I get
Because
when
they
they put
need to sell a lot of money.
no,
do.
they're gonna.
There's gonna be
They're
toys
gonna.
coming out ahead of
It
this.
was already going to make $600 million. Now it'll make $800 million. So Spider-Man is the most marketable character Marvel has at their disposal. They're going to have more toys. They're going to see. I'd rather see it like that than in a toy. I'd rather have it exposed. And this is completely opposite of what I said last week. If you look at every episode before this, I was on your side.
Yeah.
100%. And then this dropped, and I realized not only do I get to enjoy this for longer, but I also don't have it ruined for me in an out of context, like spoiler photo. There's not a set photo of this. There's not a moment
No.
where and that I appreciate. So I'm
That's
glad this
very
happened.
good point.
I think
well,
Matt
because
Kennedy
he's
brought
all
up-
CG, there can't be set.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
that's
Matt
true.
Kennedy brought up a good point, saying like they're selling toys now. Like
Yeah.
so the fact that we have just 4 seconds of Spider-Man going, "Hey everyone," like that will sell toys. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're like,
No, that-
I
that-
want that toy.
That
Yeah.
pays for the next Spider-Man movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
That
is
one
effectively
week.
Sony's trailer for their own universe, and this is probably something that Sony made as part of the agreement to have him allowed because they need this. Sony
They
more
do.
than anyone. Fox
They
has
sure
Deadpool
do.
now. Marvel has the world. Sony needs Spider-Man, and I'm really glad that like the opening image on every website right now is Spider-Man holding Cap's
Yep.
shield. That shows unity amongst not only the characters but of the studios, and
Yeah.
that is a bright hope
That's a
for the
big
future.
deal.
Yeah, there are these very specific Bendis-esque splash page moments, right,
Yeah.
that we see in these movies, and there's usually like 5 or 6 in every one of these. We got 2 in this trailer. How many more could there be?
Hopefully not as many as Age of Ultron, where it's just a series of those.
That's true. But I mean, like, we want that, like, oh my god moment. Like, and there's going to be a lot of that emotionally. Apparently, it's an emotional horror from what we've heard, right?
Well, if it's the comic, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be, I mean, there's going to be the titular line, why is this war so civil? There's going to be that. It's going to have that. This is such a civil war. You passed the salt. It's going to be so much like that. But I mean, like, just stop. Stop right now. I don't want to. We're going to get an international trailer. We're
I'm not going to watch it.
I think it was you, Matt, that said that we may get a boot. We may get a giant boot.
I really. So, like, every single trailer has to have that one, like, oh, kind of moment.
Sure.
And I think Civil War probably has a lot of those things, like, in the movie itself. But I think the last remaining thing that the fans are just like, go, come on, give it to me, is Ant-Man becoming
Which
Giant
the toys
Man.
already ruined. The
Yeah,
toys already spoiled that.
Giant Man.
Exactly, like.
So people should just be excited that Crossbones is going to be in the movie.
I'm excited about Crossbones, actually.
I squealed.
We still have Black Panther, who looks incredible.
Yeah.
We haven't even
With
heard of
bullets
him speak
bouncing
yet.
off of him.
We don't know what
Yeah.
that
Vibranium
sounds like.
Wait, I bet he's got like a vibranium.
It's a vibranium line suit. It makes
So how
perfect
come
sense.
Iron Man doesn't have a vibranium suit?
Budget.
Yeah.
Well, vibranium was also very.
He bought an RS or an R8.
There's not a whole lot of vibranium, right? And it's very sacred to Wakanda.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a meteor. So
look at that costume though.
Yeah,
So good.
He looks so cool.
Batman.
Did you guys read the interview about how much of a pain that costume was to get in?
Oh, yeah.
Like, all the other superheroes are like, we've been doing this forever, but he's got it the worst. His costume is by far the worst to deal with, and Mossman's just handling it like a champ. And this trailer really sold me on him, and he didn't even speak.
Yeah.
Every time I saw him, and I was like, that is a real MF.
He's an
I said a
animal.
word I couldn't say in this show.
He's an animal.
Yeah, and like
mother
the
father.
moving, the mother father. He's an animalistic mother father, and his panther movements and the
Yeah,
chase
his
and
the running, the cheetah running, it was great. All of it was great. I think it's going to be fantastic. This is a great backdoor pilot for the Black Panther movie. Martin Freeman, I guess, he's already signed on for the Black Panther movie.
As far as we understand, as Everett Ross, which was just announced a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So.
I'm stoked. I mean, I want to stop. Like, that's the thing is, like, if you were to compare the two, like, the other thing that's interesting is here, if it's the 90s again, which DC and Marvel constantly playing the hands of the bat game.
Yeah.
I feel like they have to be looking at each other going like, all right, well, what do we, Lobo, what do we got?
Well,
like, let's throw something out there. We got to get back on top. Right now, this is mind share. Everyone is talking about this. What do we got? Like, we have to top it. Which is, as a fan, I'm like, I'm excited again.
Yeah.
What I'm excited about is the fact that we have a Spider-Man that's, let's see, how do I... And we had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, which was a post-Batman and Robin Spider-Man. It was snarky, it was campy, it was fun, it was bright colors. Then we had Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, which was a post-Dark Knight Spider-Man, which was a little too... I mean, I liked Amazing Spider-Man, and I defend it, but it was a little off on
Someone's got to.
I liked it.
He listened to the Decemberists and just
I'm
cried.
pretty sure they gave the director's chair to the guy because his name was Webb.
He's just like him.
And that was the only reason behind it.
We had a post-Dark Knight Spider-Man. Now we have a post-Winter Soldier Spider-Man, post-Avengers Spider-Man in the world of that, so I feel like we're more prepared for fleshing out a character because we have the tone down, because we've experienced two worlds that were good. I enjoy both other series. This, I think, will be the comics because Marvel is the most dedicated and Sony trusts them because they have to. So I think our post-Winter Soldier Spider-Man is going to be the definitive, and I think this was the way to do it, literally holding Cap's shield, and that's a beautiful image, and we're all ready for it.
Well, I'll back you up in cheerleading Kevin Feige, who I think is the most important head of studio since Walt Disney ran Walt Disney Studios. I think that his singular vision of what the Marvel Universe can be went beyond what anybody thought it could be, and he's just proving himself right. And there's going to be a hiccup at some point. There's going to be a movie that doesn't do as well. But when you weigh against what he's brought to the table time and time again, but Ant-Man was hugely successful too.
Absolutely.
I mean, Ant-Man
Especially
made
for
more
how much
money
it
than the
costs,
last
too.
Captain America movie, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I
huge.
think maybe the biggest hiccup they've had critically would be like Thor: Dark World, maybe like Iron Man 2 or 3. Like, they've had a couple like little bitty hiccups, but even those hiccups have like
they keep the lights on.
$100 million.
Yeah, they still carry on a series because this is, if anything, a serialized series. But it's more TV show than film. It is a long form entertainment, and this is carrying it on beautifully because this film, is going to split into different worlds. We talked about Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, and this does it in multiple studios. Yeah,
Inhumans, man. Like,
This
I'm really
trailer-
excited about how that's going to happen. Yeah.
This trailer sets up the world to change because of the tone, because of what they all introduced, and they did it in 2.5 minutes. And I also feel like they didn't reveal too much for me. And I'm very particular about what trailers reveal. I thought Deadpool was the best marketing. You can't do Deadpool for this type of movie. This gave away only the set pieces we kind of already knew, gave us new dialogue, and it was more story than action based. So I feel like we'll still have a lot of room for those moments because this trailer didn't have as many of them as it could have.
Well,
I hope so.
Yeah, we were talking in the car. I think we came up with like why T'Challa has such a hard-on for Winter Soldier. I mean, he's a king of a nation. He's a prince of a nation, right? And his father was in a power position. And if you've read Winter Soldier, you know they froze him. Yeah. And then they woke him up and it's like, kill that leader and go back to sleep. So we were talking, like me and Matt talking about it in the car. We were like,
the Jason Bourne aspect of it.
Did he kill his dad?
Well, now that we have 2 trailers, I mean, the speculation comes out, right? Because there was more story. So now all we nerds unite and start putting the pieces together, and we go, oh, well, maybe this is how this works. Maybe this is, and we'll all be wrong. And
So now we'll make it so happy.
So let me throw out my theory on how this all kicks off. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's my theory. T'Chaka and T'Challa both attend like a UN sort of summit, and then that explodes and it blows up, and T'Chaka dies, and that is like an attack on sovereignty.
Yeah.
So now it's T'Challa's dad who he loves. So he's like, all right, well now I've got to get the bastard who did this. Winter Soldier is framed, but he didn't actually do it. I think it's maybe like Crossbones and some of his
Hydra
guys, or Hydra in some capacity,
or AIM,
or Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
Because Baron Zemo, like, by the way, Baron Zemo's still in this. We still don't know who he is or what he's doing. We've seen 2 trailers. This one showed enough. Like, as if I needed to be sold, but like,
I will be all for TV spots. I think that TV spots.
I
this
won't
is
watch
good.
any of
Well,
them.
because it's what's the rule? 2 in international and then TV spots, right?
2.
Correct.
No, there's typically 3, then an international.
Oh, okay.
So like, I'll watch the main trailers, but I refuse to watch the TV stuff because that's when like the spoilers start to really.
That was my
happen.
mistake with Deadpool.
Yeah.
Too much of the comedy.
Oh, that was Age of Ultron for me.
Yeah.
So the place blows up. Winter Soldier is framed for it, and because his history precedes him, Black Panther's like, this guy did it. He's going down. Captain America, in the meantime, is like, wait, how did there's no way he did it.
We were
'cause
hanging out, having
we're
beer.
we're BFF. So like now, like that's where Captain America, I think, gets pulled into it and makes his stand, and that's why I think where
and
the
Iron
war
Man
starts to happen.
gets the fun, and then the raft.
The raft looks awesome. And the raft for comic fans and the throwback line for MCU fans, the Captain America throwback to Cap 1
I could do this all day.
was such like a warm the cockles.
Man, like in fact, when they showed that scene, like Iron Man's like, you better stand down, and like you see him like. You know it's coming, and you're just like, say it.
And it's the first fight we've seen, like with someone who can actually like they fight each other, and it's as big of a fight as the first Cap when he was a weakling. Like Iron Man is objectively stronger than Cap, so we're seeing that parallel for the first time. Like Marvel
Cap is strategically
right. Like we haven't had a fight, like a fist fight in a little bit. Like we've had lots of gray horde.
But that's
fights.
what Cap does well.
Right.
The Cap movies do. That's why I love the last one so much. That's why I'm excited when they did
Russo's
Badrock.
back,
Was it Badrock?
Yeah.
Batroc, the
When they
leaper.
did Batroc, that fight was amazing, and the fact that Crossbones is coming.
And the Samuel Jackson chase scene was better than most action scenes. And how many car chases have you seen in your life? Hundreds? That was really exciting.
This is beyond Frankenheimer. This is like amazing stuff. Yeah. But I mean, you invoked Hydra, so I have to talk now.
Tell Hydra over here.
My favorite part of what they did with that second Captain America movie is they made a political thriller in superhero drag, and it's one of the best superhero movies ever made, in my opinion. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a lot of stuff that's rooted in reality that a lot of comic fans don't know about, and the Civil War comic, and especially the Death of Captain America comics that Ed Brubaker were working on, have a lot of real-world research behind them. And there's a guy named Peter Levenda who wrote a book in the 70s called Unholy Alliance, which is about the escape of Nazi war criminals at the end of the war. And now recently, a lot of like very mainstream journalists are writing books, people from ABC, about the rat lines and how they use the church route to get out of Europe. And that really sets up the fact that Hydra is very much mirroring what was a real organization in post-World War II, the world. I mean, in Egypt, Mubarak. In South America, with Perón, and even in places like Malaysia. And so I love how that has sort of become the backbone of this really exciting story, and that has ramifications that go in all directions, as we saw. That now you also get to see this sort of likable, great character with Tony Stark is going to have to make that kind of, you're going to have to make decisions about him like you would in Falling Down with Michael Douglas, where it's like, oh, this guy's had too much. Okay, this guy's crazy. Or that kind of Taxi Driver moment where it's like, okay, here, you agree with some things, you disagree with a lot of things, and they cross these lines. And so how the fans who grew up on the movies and not necessarily in the comics are going to support their favorite characters as this all goes down is going to be very important.
Tangenting off that, I talked about it earlier in the show, that Iron Man in the comics in the Civil War, I didn't agree with most of the time. It was very easy to be like, bad guy.
Yeah.
I think what they're doing with the MCU version of Civil War is much more grounded and much more like you can see both sides of the war, and that is a better Civil War. I love the comics.
Well, it's automatically better because you don't have to work with Reed Richards.
Right.
In this Marvel
you've
universe.
got characters you already love, and you've got an MCU that is separate from the comics, and people always get upset when it's like, that's not what happened in the comics. This is great because it's not what happened in the comics, and it's more grounded, and we love Downey Jr., so we're going to care about both sides so much, and they're actually giving us full reasons to. I think this, and another trailer, an editing thing that I loved, the line where punch you in your perfect teeth, we've seen that in every trailer so far. This gave us the line before that, so literally because of 5 seconds and one line of dialogue, we were like, oh, new moment, and I thought that was really cool to experience something we'd already experienced, but more fleshed out, and that's a really exciting way to do a trailer.
I wrote the quote down because I felt like that was actually a very important sort of core part of it, because that that 10-second clip right there summarizes the entire the philosophy behind the war, where Tony Stark says, that's why I'm here, we need to be put in check. And then Chris Evans responds with, "I'm sorry, Tony. If I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. I know we're not perfect, but the safest hands are still our own." That's
writing,
the
though,
war.
man. Good
That's
writing.
the war. He's like, no, we need to be put in check. We're too strong.
Freedom.
And
he's like,
authority.
I fight for freedom.
Yeah.
What are you missing?
Right.
And he's like, yeah, well, we need a suit of armor to protect ourselves.
Right,
Yeah.
it's brilliant, and it embodies their
so
powers.
good.
And it's a great way to do it using what we've had from First Avenger and from all the stuff that was in Avengers, and make us still kind of sit on that fence of okay,
Right.
who was right, who was wrong? Because in the comics, it's pretty easy. It's like, well, no, I like Spider-Man, so I'm going to side with the Spider-Man team. No, I like that. Yeah.
Well, I felt like they had to leverage Spider-Man because of how much of a D-bag Iron Man was.
Right.
I feel like Iron Man was such the bad guy.
Yeah.
They were like, "Ooh, Spider-Man joins him," and it felt like a very we need something to make him likable. And this feels like, when Spider-Man changes sides, if he does, which you think he does, it won't feel as much like they're using a character we love to pull at our heartstrings. It'll feel like he made a choice.
Right.
Well, also,
And that's exciting.
Isn't a teenager going to be, influenced by someone who's probably his hero?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if you're a
100%.
teenager and you grew up in the Marvel Universe, Iron Man's awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
You
and
know?
I'm a
they've
20-year-old Iron
established
Man's
established that he's really good with kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
the third film.
So
Yeah.
and
I don't know,
in
yeah.
the third one too. He's
No, in the third, but he's also kind of a jerk to the kids.
he's kind of a
We
nice
like
guy.
that he's good.
I
He's
feel like
a
he
jerk
would
to
be
the
better
kid.
than Cap, because Cap was
Cap
just
just be
bullied by
confused,
kids all the
like,
time.
I don't know what
Don't
this
touch
is.
me.
Tiny person.
I'm 80 years old.
But the rumors are that Peter Parker is this. He's a nerdy kid in the comics, and they've carried that over into the film. He's a nerdy tech engineer kid.
So it means Tony Stark.
So Tony Stark, he comes out as Iron Man. That's 10 years ago for this kid, when this kid is 8.
Yep.
So he's grown up with Tony Stark as this engineering god to him. So when Tony Stark's like, "Hey, what's up, kid? I hear you've got these powers. It's crazy. Do you want to team up with me?"
Yeah.
He's
And he's
like,
like,
"Of
yeah.
course I do."
Yeah, you're
Instant
Steve
first
Jobs with an MMA title.
Yeah.
It's of course I do.
Oh, you know science and you're a superhero? Okay, mister.
And that would be like Bill Murray coming up to me and be like, "So, do you want to do an improv game with me?" I do, Bill Murray. I do. Yes, I do.
That was a terrible Bill Murray voice.
By the way, we're gonna end up destroying the world in the process. Ooh, okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Sounds like
Bill Murray. Yeah.
1.5 hour set. All right, we're doing it.
done.
I think I can die happy.
Now, I will ask the question. Some of us loved Age of Ultron. A lot of people, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
The one constant in all the criticism was that it was bloated. It was overbloated.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lot going on in this movie. It's clocking in at what, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours. Yeah.
are we setting ourselves up for the same problem?
Well, maybe not. I think that one of the things that necessitated the bloating, if you will, of Age of Ultron is that it affects millions of people. And yet you felt the death of almost every person, I think, in that film. Like when people you don't know die, when the city's rising up, that you kind of feel the impact of it. This is a big issue movie about a lot less people.
But it's a lot less people, but it's a lot of people to keep.
It's a lot of people, but I know, like one of the big interview thing that had, like, I can't remember what site hosted it. It may have been Collider that had it out, but like they had like 100 things that you should know, and like they had like the screenwriters, what they said, and everything else. I'll try to tweet it out later so you guys can read it yourselves. But like one of the things they said was they've worked very hard to give every single character like a very defined arc, you know, so that like they're not just like, hey, what's up? I'm the Hulk, and like I kind of have this thing that I'm kind of going through, and oh, here's Black Widow, and she's kind of going like, you know, because that felt a little pushed into that.
I feel like this is an answer to Age of Ultron, not a continuation of. I feel like the problems that Age of Ultron had, they were aware of, and they're now fixing. I feel like, you know, Joss Whedon's brilliant. I love him. I love his writing, and I loved the things in that movie that worked. I think the things that didn't work, they learned from, and they were writing this film as that came out. So they're not going to go into the movie and be like, you know, it was a little much, let's do it again. They're going to go like, oh, we don't want to have 18 deleted scenes that are going to be clearly needed and go into this film. I think they shaped this movie better from the outset, and therefore we're going to get a film that feels more tight, even if it's longer, because it knew what it was before it was what it was.
But how do you continue? I guess you can in just a line of dialogue, but how do you continue with some of the stories that Ultron set up and not continue those stories? The Black Widow Hulk story, any of that stuff.
You have Hulk leave because he had to. You have, you have the TV
and that's
screens.
it, and she's just gone. That's it.
But I think that's it. Is that like Hulk is gone, Thor's gone. Those were two kind of extraneous things to the Age of Ultron story. You know, like the whole Thor thing, like leaving and coming back, and it's the Norn Stones, and like,
I'm in a cave.
Yeah.
You're like, that was just like, what are you
And
doing?
that could have been amazing if it was fleshed out. This, I feel like, will do that for the film. It'll have those moments, have buttons on them. It'll have it tie into the world. I feel like it's going to be more shaped because Joss Whedon should have gotten another half hour. He just didn't, and that was, everyone suffered for it. This movie being longer gives me more hope than it gives me concern.
Well, and I feel like Age of Ultron was much more about setting up the future stuff than it was about being a movie in and of itself. Whereas I feel like this is very much a movie about whatever it is that they're doing, and everything else that follows is going to have to answer to that. Where it felt like this was like, oh yeah, we've got this and this and then we've got to set up Civil War, we've got to set up Thor Ragnarok, we've got to set up Spider-Man in some way, we've got like all this other stuff, and I feel like when our Civil War is just like, no, this is Civil War, and everyone's gonna have to fall in line behind us.
But they're gonna have to set up stuff. They already kind of teased a little bit of the Scarlet Witch vision, at least interaction.
Yeah, she's giving him a boner.
This kind of gives that option. This gives that option without having to fully set it up. Black Panther existing gives us a Black Panther movie. Spider-Man existing in this. This already is a, like you were saying, backdoor pilot because of the necessity of continuing the story, not because it sets up plot lines. This can end plot lines while introducing new movies instead of having to start plot lines can continue movies. Do you know what I mean? Like this doesn't have to be a Phase 4 start. It can literally just be the end of Phase 3, which doesn't have to make it feel like you're watching a half-finished TV show.
But isn't this going to have to set up Infinity War?
I feel like it's
this is a very big question because what has to happen at the end of this to bring all the cosmic things together?
It may not be at the end of, because this is Civil War Part 1. Correct?
No. This is Civil War.
Oh, it's all
Infinity
Civil War.
It's
Infinity is
that's
split too, yeah.
I feel like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and what's the other one? We have an Ant-Man 2, and then
There's
I think
Ant-Man 2, there's Guardians of the Galaxy.
those will make us Infinity
Will
War.
this start the Illuminati?
Like in real life.
Like in
wish
real
we
life?
could.
Yeah, real life.
Yeah. Hoba.
I wish we could.
I'm not allowed to talk about that.
No, and
Wait a minute, I have to leave for my Bilderberg meeting.
I think those films, it'll be more like Phase 1, where Phase 1 led to the Avengers. I hope that those films lead to Infinity War instead of making this a prequel to a film that doesn't exist yet. Because that I think has been a big issue.
I think Infinity War is going to be set up by Doctor Strange, Black Panther,
Guardians
and
2.
Guardians 2, and Ragnarok especially. Like Ragnarok, I think is going to be a big one.
Right.
Because that one, you know, the rumor right now is that like Thor gets banished from Asgard by Loki and Hela.
I hope any of those rumors are true. I get so excited reading those rumors.
Me too.
Me too. I own that page.
Oh, nice.
I've got the Iron Patriot origin. I've got
that's great.
the Bucky as Captain America page,
That's
and
fantastic.
I've got the Banishment of Thor
That's
as a single
insane.
amazing Olivier
Oh my
Coipel page.
God, why didn't you bring those in?
It's
you
in the
jerk?
book I gave you.
Oh yes. The popsicle
Yes,
book.
yes.
I'm excited. So yeah, I mean, it's Civil War.
It's going to be there. It's going to be amazing. Now the real question. So 3 deaths is what we're hearing, right? That's the latest.
Well, we know it
rumor.
starts with Agent Carter's funeral. Are you counting one of those?
We don't know what we're counting.
I wouldn't count that. I think surprise deaths.
Gotcha. Okay.
Who's expendable?
Yeah.
Well, in the
Who do you
trailer,
kill?
they're acting
Who
like
doesn't
War
have a
Machine.
movie next?
Goliath.
Goliath. Goliath makes a surprise appearance. Everyone's like, "Who is this guy?"
Immediately dies.
He just dies.
We were all joking how great it would be if that moment where Spidey drops down is like, "Hey everybody," and then just headshot.
Wow.
That's
Winter
it.
Soldier just shoots him in the face.
Shoots
Winter
him in the
Soldier's
head.
like, "I'm sorry, it was Hydra. I had no idea."
And then Donald Glover, it's my turn! I'm doing it! With
I think Paste Pot Pete goes. I think,
The crapster.
I think the Spot and maybe Rocket Racer.
Oh,
I think they
yeah.
go. I think those are the 3.
And they
So this is
introduce-
going to be Scourge the Underworld is going to
It's
take
just
place in the
D-list
first
Spider-Man
15
villains.
minutes of
But
it. Yeah.
They introduce slapstick though,
I
so
hope
we
we
got
don't
lots
find
of.
out
Oh,
anyone.
Jesus.
I don't want to know
Slapstick.
anybody.
Oh,
I
my
agree.
God.
I agree. I'm going to go into complete media silo until the movie,
Yeah.
at least from we'll probably see there's 2 more trailers?
I don't
I
want
think
to.
so.
I'm not
I
going to
think
watch them.
so.
I literally
The-
only watched this one because we were gonna be
That's
here.
awesome. The international trailer is typically like a rehashing of all the other trailers,
But
just
usually has
combined in
about
a different
Unless
way.
it's the Ghostbusters one in which
With
they
better
change
music.
it. They change it. They change a lot.
We don't talk about that trailer here.
All right, sorry. Sorry.
Breaks
We'll
my heart.
offline
Breaks me
that.
heart.
No, but I mean, there's so much more, or unless they, they continue in the Dawn of Justice way, where we get another trailer, which is the greatest trailer for the movie.
Right. That
Yeah.
trailer was amazing.
I was not excited about that franchise until the last trailer.
Same.
Yeah.
But that's why I watched it.
It's like
Because I
somebody
wasn't
woke up,
excited
like,
until
oh,
Yeah.
that's
I watched
right,
that
we're
one.
making a Batman and Superman
How
movie.
cool could
Now
that be?
I remember.
Oh, we should edit that trailer,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we're all kind of in agreement that Rhodey it's a red herring. I don't think they're going to
I
kill
agree.
him.
Yeah.
I don't. They wouldn't. I don't think if they killed him, I don't think that would be in the trailer.
Right.
Right.
You know, I mean, like you don't do the Sixth Sense and show that in the trailer. And be like, oh, well, now I kind of don't need to see the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like I think that's a red herring. But I do think that a lot of the chatter, like with that article that from Collider says that there's a big event where it's like something happens where everyone realizes how far the fight has actually gone, and I think that the War Machine thing could be that, because like he gets shot out of the sky, like he falls down, he's unconscious, and like Tony Stark's
What
like,
shot
is he
him?
dead?
Did they show a
I think
shot?
Hey,
Winter
it would
Soldier
be
did.
kind of neat if he were, crippled.
Yeah.
Is he in that final lineup, War Machine?
Because the
they're
suit
facing
can
off?
move his
Yeah,
body
Yeah,
parts.
that's true. But then he becomes cyborg.
Right.
Different thing.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
that's who he's become.
No, different thing.
You know what would be interesting for me?
He's Oracle now.
It'd be interesting for me if they have these lineups at the end and it's all CGI. None of these actors were actually like next to. It'd be cool if they had the death already happen and we don't know who it is, and then the lineup's throwing us off. What if War Machine died and he isn't in the lineup at the end? That's just CGI.
Or it's like Clue, and they have 7 endings.
No, but literally,
and they
like, well, we know they shot like 4 different deaths. But
Yeah.
what if they literally have a red herring of showing someone in the lineup that doesn't end up in the lineup?
That'd be great.
How cool would
Scarlet
That
be?
was
Witch
kind of
in
what
the
I was
parlor
hoping they
with
would.
magic.
That was kind of what I was hoping they were going to do with Deadpool, because there was so much improv that I feel like they were going to burn out a lot of the improv lines in the trailers, and then they didn't, and it was still in the movie. But I feel like, honestly, my take, because everyone's going to assume, given the story and given what Brubaker did, is they're going to kill off Cap. I feel like they're
Yeah.
going to JJ Star Trek it and flip the script, and they're
And
going
kill
to
off Iron Man.
kill off Iron
Tony.
Man.
And then they
Oh,
introduce
because
his
he's too
brother.
expensive.
Well, I mean, you
Oh,
can't.
not a bad idea.
There's going to be no more Iron Man movies. We all can agree to that. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like, why have Downey anymore at this
Well,
point?
because
Right.
Downey's going to be back for Infinity War, no doubt. There's no way that he's not, because they kind of slipped in Captain America, and they were talking, and he was like, "We're going to be back in Atlanta filming." So no matter what, he's going to be there, but it could be flashbacks.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I really hope that we have. I think Iron Man is needed for the regular populace that isn't comic book fans to see these films with such excitement. Downey Jr. makes his money back in spades because people love him.
But who do you kill, Coy?
I kill Paste Pot Pete.
All right.
And I bring back slapstick.
But we're hung up on this arbitrary number of 3, which we know nothing about.
Just
too.
in general.
I mean, Cap's a big death.
Do you think they kill Cap? I don't think they kill
I don't
Cap.
think that- I
What
don't
if
think they
Iron
do.
Man kills Cap
think-
instead of it being the conspiracy that has been 3 different people in the comics.
Infinity Gauntlet, you can bring anybody back. Death doesn't matter.
Sure.
I don't do that.
Thor would bring him back.
Yeah, the fisting motion.
Thor would bring back Cap. If Thor gets the gauntlet, he would bring back Cap.
Of course.
Yeah.
I hope they all wear the gauntlet. They all share it. I mean, what do you want to do next?
Dude, I honestly, it's so hard to say who dies in this. Like, I mean, like, it could go so many different ways.
Strategically, it's so hard to pick because it's like we know what's on the roadmap and we know what it takes to do these things. So it's like, well, they're not going to kill Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, they're not going to kill. I mean, they're not going to kill Black Widow. I mean, or are they? Like, I mean,
exactly. Like maybe they do.
You can't kill off Black Widow.
well-
She's one of 2 females
yeah,
in the Marvel
but you
universe
got
right
one
now.
girl.
But Black Widow is, out of all of those characters, she's the one who passes the mantle like the most in the comics.
Then kill Hawkeye.
that's
Sorry, Jeremy.
Yeah, I feel like
like, and honestly, like they in the Ultimates they kill Hawkeye's family.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it's such a good.
It's
I
so
would love
brutal.
the fingernail
It's so
scene.
good. The
Give me
fingernails.
scene.
Oh yeah.
Give me the
But I mean,
fingernail
like,
scene.
it's not far fetched for the Russos to remove Renner because he did it in the last one, in Winter Soldier. So I mean, maybe they're okay with just being like, okay, well then we'll put you in this one, but you're dead. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I think we may actually I could foresee losing Hawkeye before I would see Captain America dying. Though again, a lot of news has said like, oh, the ending is very like really sad and like it's gonna be like controversial. Like some people are gonna hate the ending of this
Just
movie.
as long as half that running time isn't like the Return of the King,
3
burial,
endings.
3 endings, where it's like, oh, and then the Earth turns into a shield.
I think my theory, we lose Cap because it makes sense for every clue we've heard. It is
And
comic
why
appropriate.
call it Civil War?
And then
if you don't kill Cap.
Broad
and then at
strokes.
the end, post
Broad
credit scene, Infinity Gauntlet, we set up him coming back from Infinity War.
Kill off Hawkeye, bring him back as Ronin.
Ooh.
I read New Avengers.
All right, so let's take some quick questions from Twitter. I pulled a couple. Alan Sims at XRow77 says, "Why does Scarlet Witch bring Vision to his knees? He's a living Infinity Stone."
Magic.
Magic and Infinity are different.
It's well, I mean they're totally different things, but I also think Vision is so OP that we like Cap's team needs an answer to that. So I think seeing that in the trailer was like, oh damn, oh she's strong.
Well, she is. That's the thing.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
incredibly
man,
strong.
yeah.
Should be like, no more
People
British.
don't realize that.
No more Bethany.
No, that's it. We have no actors left. And we know more British.
But also, he probably didn't want to fight because they have a thing.
Yeah.
So he could be like, "You're magic and the most beautiful thing in the world. I want to fight you."
Any
And she's
guy
like,
in love knows what it's like to be brought to their knees.
Yeah, no, this is just being in a relationship.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's
That's
just
not
That's
right.
just
That's the
putting a ring on
proposal.
it. Yeah.
You bought the wrong kind of ring.
Put an infinity ring on it, bro.
He's just kneeling down to be like, "Will you? Oh God!"
I want to giant.
Actually, everything he owns is in a box to the left.
So Ricardo Bonilla at Ricky Bolio says, "Give us a pitch of how this movie will end." Do you guys have anything?
Post credits or pre credits?
I say
We kinda just did
pre-credits.
that for like 10 minutes.
Shawarma.
shawarma.
Yeah.
I just had shawarma the other day. So
That's
good.
gross.
It's gonna be poke
I love
bowls.
shawarma.
Poke bowls are the new shawarma.
You guys want to go get a beef bowl?
From Yoshinoya.
I think it ends with paste pot Pete.
You're so wrong.
You're so wrong. You're so wrong.
Yeah.
I knew
See,
it
it
would come
works.
back. I knew it would come back.
You're hoping this trends.
I'm just hoping hashtag. So
I mean, I
long.
do feel post credits. I do feel there has to be some kind of Thanos.
I think we get Doctor Strange post credits.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
So
We've got to lead into the next movie. No
He's
one
like,
knows who
"What's
Doctor
it?"
Strange is.
He's gonna hear a disturbance in the force. Oh, that's Disney. It could happen.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we scroll it? How do we introduce it?
Never.
We can't scroll it.
Can't
That's
scroll.
Fox.
Fox.
We can do something.
They could call it Frulls.
I don't like
Frulls.
hearing what we can't do.
They could be red
be
and have one
green.
chin.
Helicarrier was in Deadpool, guys. Anything can happen.
So at Pat Perf says this building in the ocean, is it some variation of the Cube or some other supervillain prison? Like we've kind of already talked about it, but
the
like
raft.
It's the Raffy.
or it's
Wheels on the bus.
42.
Yeah.
Could also be like
Prison
Prison
42.
42.
Which, talking about that, opens the door for Thunderbolts.
Also,
Yeah.
There was a
Thunderbolts.
really great pitch for Thunderbolts going around a few years ago that James Gunn wanted in before he took over Guardians of the Galaxy. He wanted Thunderbolts.
He
And
might
that
be working
became
his way.
Jared Leto with gold teeth.
Yeah. Or am I thinking Runaways?
Runaways,
continued.
that's a whole different.
So Eva at Skylaya Says, in one of the shots where Cap and Tony fight, there's a cryo chamber. Is it an old Hydra brace, or does the government want to freeze Bucky?
Bucky stays
How ironic.
constantly. Yeah.
I feel like it's
Put him on ice.
I like the idea. I feel like they have to give a little more backstory to Bucky. I love the idea of it being like a montage of them like freezing him, he wakes up, shot Hitler. Freezing him, he wakes up, shoot Mussolini. Like, I love the idea of like some kind of weird 80s montage where he just keeps waking up, killing a leader, going back to sleep, waking up, killing another leader.
Escape for a little while.
Yeah.
Become nomad.
They kind of hinted at
ELO
that.
in the
I mean,
background.
they sort of hinted at that in the last movie, that that's what was going on, and that's why he hasn't aged.
But they didn't really show it. They kind of showed it in
Right.
wacky flashbacks, but this is the time where they really get it away. I think that's where we see the crowd. Because he's also in his Winter Soldier garb. He's got the red star, he's got the face mask, he's going paintballing.
The live chat brings up a good point that Scarlet Witch could theoretically kill everyone, and I think that is a fair point for which side she's on. Because if you look at Team Iron Man and Team Cap, Team Iron Man looks hella heavy hitters.
Yeah.
I think having Scarlet Witch as the most powerful one in the team not only gives us the Miracle Children thing, because X-Men don't happen, but also gives us a more balanced thing, and that's why maybe this is in the trailer. I hadn't thought of Scarlet Witch as the heavy hitter in the entire film, but she's the most unquantified resource so far, and that sets up Iron Man the best. I mean, Doctor Strange the best.
Yeah.
Showing how powerful magic is compared to all the technology we know so far.
And he's being a master of
gives us
mysticism.
Doctor Strange.
Oh my god! Like, what if like the end credit is her going to the Sanctum
Doctor
Sanctorum
Strange.
to learn
And
how
he's
to?
like,
That's what I'm saying.
And he's like
he
floating
talks.
in this like Sanctum Sanctorum in front of the Anomaly Rue, like holding his book of the Vishanti.
That'd be
You
perfect.
put your boner, you put that boner away.
Man's gonna have to sit down for the next 2 minutes.
Oh my god! Oh
Here,
my
you
god!
need this more than I do.
That's actually why we have a desk. We get really excited.
So I just saw on Twitter that I think this is great. Scrapbookie just reunited with a college friend in the chat, our live chat.
That's
Amazing
hilarious.
Marvel movie
Bringing
news
people together.
and awesome surprises. Hell yes.
Internet.
so cool.
Nice.
So one last question. Actually, let's. Will Vision get the Mind Stone removed from his head in Civil War? That's at Pat Perf. What do we think?
If that does happen and Scarlet Witch does build a bond with him, it would be her magic that keeps him on his plane.
Oh,
No,
maybe.
I
don't think he'll lose it in this.
I don't
film,
think he'll
but-
lose it in this one. I think Thanos. I think you need that. And sorry, Walking Dead fans, but I think you need that kind of Negan appearance. His first appearance. I think you need
Sure.
Thanos shows up, rips Vision apart into pieces, takes the
because
Mind
he's so
Stone out of
much
him.
more powerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
and
you need that moment of
that'll
showing.
happen in Infinity
Oh
War.
my God! Yeah, you need it in part one. I think in part one. However many people die or whatever happens at the end of Civil War, I feel like the Infinity Part 1, you need, this is the first time they're doing a two-parter. You need something that'll bring people back. You need something like that. Like, oh my God, Thanos is here, and he could kill everybody.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's what
also
you
need that break to go back and read everything Jim Starlin ever wrote in between the two movies and be like, what's going on?
Yeah, I think Infinity War is like Thanos comes to Earth to get the stones, and then at the end of that movie, he like has them, and then Infinity War Part 2 is what do we do now?
And then the Fantastic Four step out of a portal, and
Yes!
the X-Men
And then
do.
Amadeus
They all
Cho is
high-five each
already
other.
the Hulk.
Yes! I love it! All right, so
Totally
we're
awesome.
going to end with this question from Johnny Cross at Johnny C. Blaze.
Hey, Johnny
Johnny
C. Blaze.
Cross. Do you guys think we will see multiple costumes of Spider-Man? And that's our last question. What do you think?
In
No.
life, in the
No.
rest of my
And
life.
the Civil War. In
Never
Civil
again.
War.
No.
Never again.
In Civil War. Just
You
in
don't think
Civil
I'll
War.
get a multiple?
I would like to thank them for not doing Iron Spider, which is kind of an answer to that question. I think that's what I was gonna say. I think there will be some sort of he has an impromptu costume. He's running around. He's this whippersnapper.
Bagman!
Bagman.
Bagman.
Would be sick.
Bagman would be
or,
awesome.
Or I would love a Scarlet Spider nod and have the
Yeah.
special
I would too.
spandex.
Yeah, but it just
I
doesn't
think
work.
they saved that for the next Spider-Man
The
movie.
Clone Wars. They're obviously
Yeah.
in Clone Wars, the best saga of all time. No. I think we'll see a montagey version of another costume, and then I think Iron Man has something to do with his eyes and everything, so that has to happen. Or maybe it'll just drop in and be like, "This is my secret weapon, my boy," and like this thing we saw in the trailer. I hope we get a kind of a work in progress costume, but I don't want an origin story. I know we're not getting one. I think the possibility is a costume and a half, not two costumes.
I'd be annoyed if that was his first appearance in the movie. What
That's
we
what I
just
mean.
saw in the
I
trailer.
think
Like,
we'll
that'd be really, like, oh, you guys, you know who Spider-Man is. Let's move on. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, like, as much as I'm, like, overseeing his origin story, I kind of want a little bit more.
Hey, as far as
a
meet
taste.
cutes go in superhero movies, that's like the ultimate, all right?
That's true.
All right, well that's our show. So there was one question from Twitter last week. We didn't have time to answer it. I can't remember who asked it, but he asked if we'll ever see Omega Red. I don't think we'll see him in X-Men, but I do think that we'll see him.
Old Man Logan?
Old Man Logan. If we're gonna see him ever, it's gonna be Old Man Logan.
If they do, and I love Millar, I love Old Man Logan. If they are trying to do Old Man Logan right, they need to pluck from the deep annals of
Yeah.
of what Fox owns because
Yeah.
they don't have anything.
Omega
Yeah.
Red would be great.
They don't make
I would
they don't
love
have
that.
Hulk. They don't have Hawkeye. They don't have the Spider-Bug. They
Favorite
don't have
video
anything
game character
great.
of all time.
Yeah.
so good.
Not to undermine Vehemence DJ, I do think that we will not see the Iron Spider suit. Happy birthday, though. I am sad
Happy
to,
birthday.
to give you
Happy
happy
birthday.
Happy birthday. I don't think we'll see Iron Spider because I think the suit we saw is the version of Iron Spider we're getting.
Yeah.
I think it would confuse audiences to be like, why is this guy?
Why is he red and
Why is he
gold?
red and gold? Yeah, it
Doesn't make
doesn't
sense. Yeah.
work in the amount of time we're going to have with him. If we have 15 minutes of Spider-Man and 7 of that is explaining costumes, no bueno.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we've got to close. Final thoughts, all of you guys. What do you think?
I think you're right about the Scarlet Witch and Doctor Strange.
Yes! Oh, I want to see that so bad. I'm so excited now.
I think that we're right about T'Challa and about the possible setup. Although I don't think maybe it's a flashback. Maybe it happened a long time ago.
Oh,
there's
that's
that
actually not a bad
possibility.
idea. Yeah.
You know, to have a little bit of post 9/11 intrigue.
Cool. Okay. Guys.
I agree that I think Topher Grace should be Venom again. I feel like it's going to be... No, I'm sold. I think it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to set up everything we want. Emotional thriller is the phrase we keep hearing, and I'm all for it. I just saw 10 Cloverfield Lane, and if it's anything near that, yes, a million
Perfect.
yeses.
Flitz Nerdsworth.
I have anxiety because of anticipation. Like I just want to see it already. I don't want to speculate. I don't want to have a bunch of speculations. I just want
Gotcha.
to exist in that world and then full time so I can get to the next part.
You don't have the time gem. You don't have the time
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, you asked for the mind gem. Right?
I know. Well, I'll just put
Should've asked
myself in another place. I'll put myself in a Matrix. I'll be back out when the
Perfect.
next movie comes out.
Final thoughts are this trailer totally changed my perspective on trailers. I am now more excited to have had that 5 seconds of Spider-Man over the course of 2 months, so I appreciate Marvel and Sony for giving me that. I want to thank them for doing Spider-Man justice. I think the CGI looks great for where it is. I think that it's going to change the entire realm of comic movies like I hoped it would, and I think the tone of the trailer is everything I wanted out of a second/third trailer, and I couldn't actually be more excited for a film having already seen Deadpool 6 times.
I will finish up with I am very scared of this movie. I'm very nervous for this movie because I like the MCU as it has existed, but this very much looks like a maturing of what the MCU is, because they're not fighting Loki. They're not fighting like faceless gray goons. Like they're
Putties.
They're not fighting putties.
Paper people. Paper people.
They're fighting each other over like philosophy and like who's got the right answer, and none of them have the right answer, and that's so adult and so real life and so mature. And I'm nervous for this movie in that way because someone's gonna die, and I'm not gonna like any of the choices. Like there's no one that I'm like, oh, okay, I can do without Hawkeye. No, I don't. Also, I'm excited for Doctor Strange to teach Scarlet Witch, and that's it. So where can we find you? At Flitz?
At Flitz on Twitter, Nerdsworth most everywhere else.
At Matt Rob?
At Matt Rob everywhere. Literally everywhere.
And you guys are Schmoes Games on YouTube.
Smosh Games.
SMOSH.
Smosh
Yes,
Games.
like smash, but smosh.
With an O.
With an O.
And Matt Kennedy, sir.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us today. Where can
Thank
we
you so much.
where can we find you? And where
Pod Sequentialism on iTunes, Pop Sequentialism on the website and the blog, La Luz de Jesus Gallery in Los Angeles, Panic Collective for just worldwide art mayhem.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Coy?
You can find me at Coy Jandreau on Instagram, which I'm trying to use more, and Twitter. And I'd like to thank 600 plus people for watching live today, because that's really cool. Like,
That's awesome. Thank you, everybody.
The live chat was lively, and I want to thank each and every one of you. I can't individually because there were 600 plus of you, but you're all amazing, and I hope you have an awesome week till next time.
I'm Matt Key, at the Matt Key. I produce the Fat Man on Batman podcast and this one, and I write for Geek Girl Authority. It's fun. Anyway, special thanks to our social media manager, Colt Badeau, who's tweeting from the Starjammer.
Been killing it.
Yep, he's killing it. And please don't forget to subscribe to our show on iTunes. We're the Marvel Movie News. Rate us and leave us a comment. We typically will read them, but we didn't have time to do it this week.
Yeah, I'll get to you next week.
But we're also on YouTube under the same name. If you'll comment, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. That helps us keep coming back to you. Facebook / Marvel News Show. On Twitter, we're at Marvel News PTN. And that's been our show. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for being here, guys.
Waving.
Bye-bye.
Waving incessantly. It was incessant.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Kristian Harloff, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of its owners or principals.